Hello guys, we are going to study the chapter 1 of the Prescott's Microbiology, and we have already studied I think two pages of this chapter, the history and scope of microbiology. The last live we studied about the phylogenetic tree, or the kingdom classification of these microorganisms, or how they are classified, and what are the microorganisms, like for example bacteria, these water molds, slime molds, algae, protists, etc. Today we are here at the fungi, see, and I plan on doing it until my laptop battery runs out. So I hope we enjoy this today, since I have a lot of energy studying this, reading this, and let's start. Okay, so we all know what fungi are, right? We have studied it in the 6th class or maybe 7th class, whatever class, but I think we are familiar with it, and especially the mushroom. You guys would think I love the mushroom, but honestly, I don't think I have even eaten it from one time or two times. Anyway, let's study. Some people don't like talking when they are studying. Fungi are a diverse group of microorganisms that range from unicellular forms, eukaryotes, yeast, to molds and mushrooms. Okay, so there are diverse groups of microorganisms ranging from unicellular form, means single cell form, that is yeast, to molds and mushrooms. They are multicellular forms. Mold and mushrooms are the multicellular fungi that form thin thread-like structure called hyphae. They absorb nutrients from their environment. Sorry, that was me talking to a home person, so that's why I cut the audio. They absorb nutrients from their environment, including the organic molecules they use as a source of carbon and energy. Because of their metabolic capabilities, many fungi play beneficial roles, including making bread rice, producing antibiotics, and decomposing dead organisms. Okay, bread rice, that is because of the production of carbon dioxide by the yeasts or the microorganisms in them, and producing antibiotics. The first antibiotic, that is penicillin, was produced by Penicillium notatum, and that was a fungi. Now, decomposing dead organisms, they I don't have specific example of that in mind right now. Oh yeah, mycorrhiza, right? The fungi that lives in the root of the plants in association, symbiotic association, they eat dead organisms. Other fungi causes plant diseases and diseases in humans and other animals. So plant diseases is the one where the plant has a bloat. I remember one of that disease. And diseases in human is, dandruff, or in feet, and in animals, I don't have exact, remembrance of what it was. I am not good at remembering things at a given point when I haven't planned it. So let's move on. Viruses are acellular entities that must invade a host cell in order to replicate. Acellular means they are not even considered cells. They must invade a host cell in order to replicate, means they can't, replicate or duplicate without a host cell. They are the smallest of all microorganisms. The smallest is 10,000 times smaller than a typical bacterium. They are the smallest of all microbes, but there is a virion, which is even smaller than the viruses, and they either have only they only have genetic material. So I think, yeah, that would be correct that these are the smallest of all microbes, since I think virion comes under their category as well. But their small size bodies, their power, they cause many animal and plant diseases. Yeah, they are saying that we should not go and underestimate them because of their small size, but belies means it lies their power. It just, you know, elude ourselves that they must not have power since they are small, but they cause disasters and have caused epidemics that have shaped human history. Means they have killed a lot of people. The diseases they cause include smallpox, rabies, influenza, AIDS, the common colds, and some cancers. They have included the diseases that wiped the human populations specifically in the history. The smallpox, the human disease, rabies, the animal disease, influenza, AIDS, and the common gay. These are the human diseases as well. The development of microbiology. Wait, where are we going? Oh my gosh. Wait. Oh my gosh. Where does this go? The development of microbiology as a science is described in section 1.2 to 1.5. I think this is referring to the diagram we have seen, or the flowchart we have seen below. They present a summary of the major events in this process and their relationship to the historical landmarks, means the major events occurred in the history, and that is related to microbiology. But first, we are going to should we study this first? Or should we go and watch that flowchart, read that flowchart first? I think we should go read that flowchart first. Yes. Uh, okay. So they are starting from 1546. Wait, why is this not stucking in one place? This is making me frustrated. Wait. Let's just, Oh my gosh. Guys, I'm clumsy, so don't mind me taking time on stupid things. 1546? No, they have started from 1543. The publication of Copernicus' work on the heliocentric solar system. Okay, I don't think I know that. I will be going to the Google for this. Okay, what is this? This is the heliocentric solar system. Helio. What does helio mean? Helical? Wait. Heliocentric centric solar system. What is this? The heliocentric model, or a heliocentric theory, is the astronomical model that places the Sun at the center of the solar system and the Earth and other planets in the orbit around it. The term comes from the Greek word helios, which means sun. Okay. So it's not the helix of the DNA. Okay. Well, we are simple people. We have studied only science. So heliocentric means the sun is in the center and all the earthly no all the planets are around them, and this is the solar system. Okay, so in 1543 Copernicus work on the heliocentric solar system. Okay, starting from this, from the solar system, we are going forward to the organisms, microorganisms. So in 1546, Frank Castro suggested that the invisible organisms cause diseases. I don't know on what basis this scientist Frank Castro suggested that the invisible organisms cause diseases, but okay, in 1546 he said that. In 1590 to 1608, Janssen develops the first useful compound microscope. Guys, they are going straight to the compound microscope. Where is the basic microscope? Oh my gosh, where is the light microscope? But I think they didn't mention the light microscope since it isn't, that helpful in the study of microorganisms. So in 1590 to 1608, we have the compound microscope. Then in 1600 and 1601, Shakespeare Hamlet. Oh my gosh, I think the black ones are the landmarks which is not related to microbiology but are actually very big discoveries, and they are relating it to the timeline of the discoveries of the microorganisms, right? So, okay, when the heliocentric solar system was published, the work was published. At that time, Frank Castor suggested that the invisible organisms cause diseases. And when Shakespeare's Hamlet, guys, are you guys familiar with the Shakespeare's Hamlet? I am not, so I'm searching it. Shakespeare Hamlet. What is this? It is where? The ghost of the king of the Denmark tells his son Hamlet to avenge his murder by killing the new king, Hamlet's uncle. Hamlet fears the madness and contemplates life and death and seeks revenge. His uncle, fearing for his life, also devises plots to kill Hamlet. Okay, that must be very popular at this time in 1600, in 1600 to 1601. Okay, when Shakespeare's Hamlet was published or the work was out, at that time Jensen developed first compound microscope. And then after that, Hooks published Micrographia. Guys, sorry, but I'm going to search Micrographia. Micrographia. Okay. Are some physiological description of the minute bodies made by magnifying glasses with the observation and inquiries. Guys, wait a second, okay? I will put the Google for you online as well. Wait. So you guys can see it as well, what I'm typing. Wait, okay? I think this will be boring for you to just look at the diagram and I searching on Google on my own. So wait, I'll just browser Google. I'm putting the window. What? Oh no, I don't know how to put Google now. I'll just make it as a window, okay? Let's just delete this one. Oh my gosh, why am I renaming it? This one's going to be removed. Yes. And wait, I know you guys are looking at the screen, but here I'm working on the OBS. If you are familiar with it, I will be putting the Google, enter, and what? Oh, here it is. Okay. So this is what I was searching for. Oh my gosh. I hope not my information goes out. Where should I put this? There? Is there fine? Or should I put it here in the corner? Is there fine? It should be fine here. Okay. And it's fine, perfectly fine here. Let's go to the, but how are we going to, should I make it smaller? It will be difficult for us to read if we have this thing around. Well, I'll know it. So this is what I was searching, and let's go. Okay, so we were studying about micrographia. So this is just the physiological description of minute bodies made by magnifying glasses with observation and inquiries theory upon his historically or whatever. Here it will be. Minute handwriting, pathology and neurological. Okay, this one's wrong. It's the minute handwriting and the minute bodies made by magnifying glass. Okay, so this was the time where micrographs, or the study of micrographia was, micrographs were at the peak maybe at that time. So let's go back and see what else. Leeuwenhoek discovers the animalcules. Animalcules was the cell bodies, which he was studying under the microscope, and he named them the animalcules. It was the cells of the tree bark. Let's read it directly from the Google. Microscopic animal. Entrepreneur was the first to discover and describe microorganisms and living beings characterized as animalcules, little animals. What? Was I referring to something else? Oh no, my gosh, what am I doing? Oh, no. Man, I mixed it to something else. Well, today we call it germs, microbes, microorganisms, or simply organisms. Okay, so they call them animalcules because they resemble the animals, but weren't big like animals, so they just named it animalcules. Then the next one is the 1688 Reddy refutes the spontaneous generation of maggots. Okay, there was a theory at that time that the microorganisms comes from, it might not just the microorganisms. Life comes of, on its own, out of nowhere, right? Or out of thin air. Means there was no relationship between, the living organisms and living organisms in the generation, in the replication of maggots, because at that time they didn't know that there were eggs in the things, because eggs are so small we cannot see it with our naked eyes. So they just assumed that the organisms that grow in the meat are, the thing they were experimenting on out of nowhere. But then in 1688 already refutes the spontaneous generation of maggots. And at that time, what was going on in the world? It was in 1687 Newton's Principia published. Oh my gosh. Guys, what language is this? Principia? Principia. Oh, wait. Newton's Principia. I don't know what language they are using it. The main idea of Newton was to provide the mathematical framework for understanding the physical world based on the laws of motion and gravity. I think it was the, wait, was the Principia a book or a law? A book or law or theory? What the heck was that actually? So Newton's Principia was a book about physics by Isaac Newton, the fundamental work for the whole of the modern science, published in 1687. Okay, three laws of motion. Okay. Guys, thank me for telling you guys. I didn't know that he wrote a book about these three laws of motion. So the next is, okay, that was 1688 and 1687. Then the 1765, 1777. Oh my gosh, I can't even read this. Is 1776. Spallanzani attacks spontaneous generation. Okay, he just refutes the spontaneous generation, right? The ready. He was gentle with it. He just refuted that no, this is not correct. But here it comes this Spallanzani. He attacked the spontaneous generation by his own experiment. He proved them wrong completely. He just said that they were not correct. He proved them wrong. He was brutal with it. So in 1765 to 1776, Spallanzani attacked the spontaneous generation. And in 1776, American Revolution. American Revolution. Guys, I don't know what they did in the 1776. Are you guys familiar with it? Sorry, again, I'm going to the Google. What is 1776 American Revolution? The American Revolution 1765 to 1783 was an ideological political movement in the three colonies. Oh my gosh, this is going over my head. I think people living in the America will know. By issuing the Declaration of Independence adopted by the Continental Congress on the July 4, 1776, the 13 American colonies severed their political connection to the Great Britain. Oh, okay. So when we were just, attacking the spontaneous generation, this was occurring in the America. Oh, okay, okay, okay. Well, it's all history. Let's move on. In 1786, Miller produced the first classification of bacteria. What classification? Miller produced what first classification? I am curious about that. What was the first classification of bacteria by Miller? Where is it? Wait. Oh my gosh. What's what's the first classification of bacteria by Miller? Okay. Okay, here it is. Bacteria were first classified as plants constituting the class Schizomycetes, which along with the Schizophyceae blue-green algae cyanobacteria formed. Okay, we are not studying any further. And bacteria was first observed, then animalcules, and then they were becoming the Schizomycetes, fission fungi. I didn't know that. Did you guys know? Okay, we just need to learn this much that the bacteria were first classified by Miller and the first classification was Schizomycetes. Now, the 1798 Jenner introduced the cowpox vaccine smallpox. Vaccination for smallpox, okay. So the smallpox was wiping out the population of the earth, of humans, sorry, not earth. And Jenner introduced the cowpox. Okay, this is big. 1798. Look at us these days. For corona, I think cowpox took a lot of years, to produce the vaccination against it. But we in the corona produced it, I think, within the year or maybe two. No, not two. I don't think it took that much longer. So they were quick with it. Now, the okay, so when 1776 American Revolution was occurring, we attacked the spontaneous generation, and there was the first classification of bacteria, and then there was the cowpox vaccination. Now, 1815, the Battle of Waterloo, the Napoleon defeated. Waterloo. Okay, we are not going to go to Google for this. There was a battle at Waterloo and the Napoleon was defeated. But who against them they were defeated? Sorry, but we are going to Google again. Who defeated Napoleon and who defeated Napoleon in 18, was it 1814 or 1815? Okay, it was 18. Forcing him to A coalition of nations defeated Napoleon in 1814, forcing him to abdicate to the throne and be exiled to Elba. Sorry guys, what is Napoleon? What is Napoleon? This was a guy, former emperor of the French. Okay. So if the emperor was defeated, of course the country was going to defeat. What was Napoleon from? One was the most successful general of the French Revolutionary armies. Okay. But guys, they were so brutal. That many countries were attacking just a single emperor? Oh my gosh. Britain, Russia, Austria, Sweden, Spain, Portugal, most of what is now Germany. Oh my gosh. Our history is so dark. Okay, we are going back. So the Battle of Waterloo, the Napoleon was defeated in 1815 by the Germany, by the present Germany, okay. Now the 1838, 1839, Schwann and Schleiden proposes the cell theory. Guys, we are familiar with the cell theory, right? That all the new producing cells arise from the present cell, and cell is the basic form of life. If we are trying to memorize it, we'll just search it. What is cell theory? Cell theory is scientific theory first formulated in the mid-19th century that living organisms are made up of cells. Well, this is in short, but we are going to study the principles. Classical cell theory contains three explanations about the cells. These principles are: cell are the basic unit of life, all living things are made up of cells, and all the cells come from the other cells. And now we are going back. So when the guy Napoleon was defeated, we were moving towards the cell theory. Here we are here we are stuck what our cell is made up of, what our life is, and there the Napoleon was going obliterated by these countries. Obliterated. Now the 1835 to 1844. I think these are occurring at the same time, just a few years up and down. Now the basic discovered the silkworm disease caused by a fungus. Silkworm disease. Now we are going to go study the silkworm disease. Silkworm worm diseases. Guys, if you think I'm encyclopedia or Wikipedia, knowing everything, then you are dead wrong. I actually forget things even if I know them. So that's why we are going to Google. Silkworm can be affected by a variety of diseases caused by bacteria. Okay, we are not going to study what actually is the silkworm disease. What occurs in this? Oh my gosh, they are going into the detail. We are not going into the detail. Okay, it is a disease. What? Oh my gosh. I think it is the silkworm, and the silkworm is actually attacked by some of the microorganisms. Don't blame me, okay? Everything related to microorganisms attack, I only think of humans. That's why I was slow at thinking that silkworms were attacked. Are susceptible to the variety of disease caused by the pathogens like bacteria, viruses, protozoa, and fungi. Okay, we get it. Okay, it's the silkworm disease, and it was the silkworm, and it was attacked by the microorganisms. Okay, so Let's go. Now, it was caused by the fungus. Okay, now that we are studying it in Google, they say it is susceptible to a lot of microorganisms. But in 1835 and in 1844, they just discovered that it was caused by the fungus. In 1847 and 1850, the Samuel Weiss introduced the antiseptics to prevent the disease. Okay, but what antiseptic? What was the antiseptic? We all know what antiseptics are. Guys, curiosity gets the best of me. I am going to go search what antiseptic did Samuel Weiss actually prescribe to the people. What antiseptic was prescribed by SH. What? Guys, I forgot what the name was. Samuel Weiss, man. Samuel Weiss. Okay, here it is. The first one. Sam, Dr. Ignace Semmelweis prescribed a chlorinated lime solution for washing hands to prevent the spread of the purple fever, also known as childbed fever. Okay, so the antiseptic was the chlorinated lime. Lime? Man, what is chlorinated lime? Chlorinated lime is a white powder that is used for bleaching, disinfecting, and other purposes. Okay, oh my gosh, it's that thing. I thought it was lime. I didn't know it was chlorine in it. Okay, it strongly smells of chlorine, leading it to the slow decomposition in the moist environment. Okay, where is the PDF? Okay, so always introduce the antiseptic to prevent disease, and the antiseptics looks like he prescribed a lot of antiseptics, not just a single one. But the Google is saying it was the chlorinated lime, so we will just comment on that for now. We're not going into further detail. And at that time, when we were introducing the antiseptics, there was the Marx Communist Manifesto. Communist Manifesto? Guys, we are going back to the Google. 1848, 48, here is it. Oh my gosh, oh my god. Here it is. Well, good thing we don't have to go back. Communist League and originally published in London. It's the book? I thought it was some kind of, mm, what do you call it? Sorry, I don't have word for it. Manifesto, originally the Manifesto of the Communist Party. See this? I knew it was something political. It's a political pamphlet written by, but I didn't know it was a book or pamphlet written by the Karl Marx and the Friedrich Engels, commissioned by the Communist League and originally published. Okay, what actually it was? Communist Manifesto. What actually was it about? Commissioned by summary. Let's study the summary, okay? I know it will take a whole year for me to read this book if I'm going to go at it at this pace. A political pamphlet. Oh my gosh, what is the main point of the Communist Manifesto? The main argument in the Communist Manifesto is that creating one class of people would end the problem of continuous class struggles and cycles of evolution between the bourgeois and the proletariat class, which never lead to the true reform. Wow, Karl Marx. Now I have a respect for you, okay? I hope I never forget your name. You just said to end the problem of continuous class struggle by creating one class? Good for you. Communist Manifesto. Guys, shouldn't we read that book? I'm not going to. Anyway, by the time they were finishing the one class, multiple class system, Semmelweis were introducing antiseptics. Okay, good, good. As usual, we are sticking to the basics while the world is going through a whole lot big changes. In 1859, the Darwin's Origin of Species. See, now this is a big thing as well. Origin of species, understand? Species. He was traveling the world, and when he reached an island, he found that there are a lot of multiple birds that are similar to what he was seeing usually, but was a little bit different. Then he said that they are actually species, but a little bit different from one another. So by the time that Darwin was, you know, originating the species concept or things, in 1859, what were we doing? Okay. In 1859 describes the fermentation. I don't actually believe that the fermentation process, this was the first time someone did the fermentation, okay? I'm not believing this, but I think the world was doing it before, but they didn't know it was fermentation. But Pasteur in 1857 described it, I think, specifically what fermentation is, and these are actually the microorganisms that are involved in the fermentation. Okay, so that was the main point. People were doing fermentation, but they didn't know that microorganisms were involved in it. So in 1857, Pasteur described the fermentation and maybe added that the microorganisms were involved in it. Then what? In 1867 and 1869, American Civil War. This is the second time we are going to the America, right? Now what? What is the American Civil War in 1861? Should we go to the Google for it? In 1861, Civil War. 18 Civil War. What was this about? Bombard Fort Summer in the South Carolina. A wave of enthusiasm or Russia. Americans' bloodiest and most de- decisive, no, divisive conflict, putting the Union Army against the Confederate State of America. The war resulted in the death of more than 6,20,000 people, with millions of more injured and South left in ruins. Oh, this was actually Mississippi, Florida, Alabama, Georgia, Louisiana, and Texas seceded from the United States. Oh, so the America was broken. The Union, also known as North, won the American Civil War. The main reasons for the victory were superior resources, including manpower, transportation, and industrial capacities, as well as the effective leadership of the President Abraham Lincoln and the military stages of the Union. Okay, okay. So it wasn't the America. But why is it American Civil? Okay, so the America was broken down. Guys, if I'm wrong, correct me. Don't come hating me because it is normal for me to not know this, okay, since I don't belong to America. But since I am studying it in this book, I need to study every word of it. Otherwise, I won't be satisfied. My curiosity won't let me move further from this. So in 1861 to 1865, American Civil War was happening, and the pastor disproves the spontaneous generation. So I think people before him were also attacking the spontaneous generation, but they must have not given the proof quite satisfactory for the world to believe in it. That's why pastor have to disapprove the spontaneous generation. So looks like this was the era of pastor, the first and the second. Now in 1866, the Dostoevsky, Crime and Punishment, Dostoevsky's Crime and Punishment, and the 1867 Lister published of Antiseptic Surgery. Guys, I know this is just so simple, but I don't know the history. What is antiseptic surgery? Was it never done before that? Did people did surgery, but was an antiseptic, and so that's why it wasn't successful. But Lister was the first one. No, guys, I'm going to Google for it, okay? And this thing, 1866, Dostoevsky's Crime and Punishment. Crime and Punishment. What is this? This crime, I know what is it. Punishment, I know, but what is the Dostoevsky's Crime and Punishment? Guys, sorry, but we are going back to Google. Crime and Punishment. Punishment. Here it is. Dostoevsky. It's a novel. And now what you are doing with it? It's a novel by, it was first, okay, what is the book about? A former student lives in poverty and cares in the St. Petersburg. He decides through contradictory theories, including the utilitarian morality and the beliefs that the extraordinary people have the right to transgress, to murder Joanna, an elderly pawnbroker. Guys, I don't know if this book is a novel. Does it mean it was written based on the... Guys, my battery is dying, and it will take me 45 minutes to come back. Should we leave it on this, since my it will be dying? So, can of 14 years. No, why is the masterpiece? Let's read this. Is a timeless exploration of the human experience, inviting readers to confront moral ambiguity and the consequence of their action. It intricates the character studies and profound themes continue to inspire the discussion and analysis. Okay, so it's, I think, a philosophical type and the human related type book, Crime and Punishment, and it must have been popular for it to be written here. And when this book was happening, and there was a antiseptic surgery happening. So these both are books. He publishes on the antiseptic surgery. Sorry. Don't get me wrong, my mind is... So this was a novel, and this one's journal, maybe, in which he talked about the antiseptic surgery. I think it has more, what rate? Success rate. So now these days we of course use the sterilized instruments and the sterilized machines and etc. Okay, so we will continue it in the sometime when my laptop is charged and etc. And for now, this is going to end. Okay, the charge is not approving the continuity of this live. Okay, bye.